This is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. We have a ton of news to go over in today's video. Many Americans, everybody, are set to receive $1,800 in stimulus money very soon, and some of these payments may become permanent. Many studies have also shown that direct payments were beneficial to American households and kept the economy from completely tanking. So folks, I'm excited to see our politicians send out a fourth stimulus check to help all of you guys that are in need. Now, as you know, Democratic lawmakers in Congress have been pushing the White House to extend stimulus checks and unemployment compensation programs until the end of the crisis.
I think everybody knows that there are enormous issues out there facing working people. Millions of people are working for starvation wages. You have a housing crisis, you have a child care crisis. We're the only major country on earth not to have paid family and medical leave. You got over 90 million Americans who are either uninsured or underinsured, and the list goes on and on and on. The issue that I'd like to touch upon today is Social Security, perhaps the most important federal program in existence, a program of enormous consequence to the 59 million seniors, people with disabilities, and children who are beneficiaries.
President Biden, everybody, and the lawmakers should definitely be open to ideas for how to move forward. Plus, the chances of a fourth stimulus check for Americans looks great, with Democrats holding the majorities in both chambers. Likewise, extending the federal unemployment benefits, like the $300 a week, may be a lost cause in the current political and economic environment. The Democratic lawmakers are looking at setting up programs that will provide relief without the need of legislative action. So folks, they're trying to send out aid automatically. Now, since before the third stimulus check, progressive lawmakers in Congress are also pushing for recurring monthly stimulus checks. The legislators argue that Americans shouldn't be left dangling in the wind, while political factions duke it out.
Brett, the White House tells us that when the president met with financial regulators today, they told him they think the economy is in good shape, and they told him they are having success making progress using regulations to address climate change the way the president has ordered. And while that huddle was happening here at the White House, officials sent the vice president to Pennsylvania.
There are multiple Democrats working on Plan Bs.
What I think the president has done is given us a blueprint as to where we want to go.
So Sanders is now trying to fold multiple unpassed Biden proposals into a $6 trillion mega package he hopes could be passed with Democrats only.
I personally agree with this, everybody. Our politicians have to put away their political differences and help out the American people. The American people still need help, and they need it now. And if you guys agree with me, then leave a comment down below saying I agree. So in an open letter to the White House, senators referring to stimulus checks and the extended pandemic jobless benefits wrote, "Those two forms of payments are effective together. Unemployment insurance has replaced lost income for millions who have lost their jobs. Direct payments are crucial for supporting struggling families who are not reached by unemployment insurance." So, the two provisions have proved very popular among the American public and effective at alleviating hardship for those who have been struggling during the crisis. These are the two other reasons lawmakers are pushing for these so-called automatic stabilizers to become law. Now everybody, Bernie Sanders, Ed Markey, and now the Vice President Kamala Harris have put forward a proposal that would send $2,000 per person plus $2,000 per child for up to $10,000 per month to families earning less than $100,000. So if you fit in this category, this is great news for you guys. Now, similar legislation was reintroduced this year by House Representatives Pramila Jayapal and Rashida Tlaib that will provide a fourth direct payment of $2,000 and then $1,000 recurring direct payments to Americans until the pandemic ends. The boost has nearly 10 co-sponsors, including Representatives Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ayanna Pressley. Senators Ron Wyden and Michael Bennet have proposed a revamp of the unemployment system nationwide. The proposal would modernize the benefits, allowing those laid off to access jobless assistance more quickly, doing away with the waiting week, along with other measures to standardize the patchwork of unemployment insurance systems in each state. So, the extended benefit program would be tied to economic conditions on the ground. The senators don't specify which economic indicators, but the triggers could be unemployment surpassing a certain level, then winding down once again when employment recovers. Folks, I want you to know this. Senator Ron Wyden said, "We can't fail again to fix our unemployment insurance in the wake of the second major economic crisis in 10 years. A 21st century economy demands a 21st century safety net that supports workers who lose their jobs through no fault of their own." And I agree with Senator Wyden, everybody. Unemployment benefits should be continued. because many cities across the country are still under lockdown. In addition, 36 million American families on July 15th will start receiving monthly checks from the IRS as part of the expanded child tax credit. Eligible families will receive up to $1,800 in cash through December. However, the tax credit has a complication that may prompt some families to opt out. The enhanced child tax credit was signed into law by President Biden as part of the American Rescue Plan. The effort expands the benefits from a $2,000 credit, taken annually when you file your taxes, to up to $3,600 per child, with half the amount divided into 6 payments, to be paid out in cash on a monthly basis from July through December, and the rest claimed on your 2021 tax return. During an interview on CBS News, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the Biden administration has proposed extending the monthly payments for 5 more years. He thinks this is a central benefit that will help families and help get women back to work. So folks, the effort has some similarities to the 3 rounds of stimulus checks that have been distributed by the IRS to help people weather the pandemic. So folks, that is all the news we have in this video. If you guys found this video useful and helpful, feel free to subscribe to my channel and give a like on this video.
Let's get into politics in Washington right now. The $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure package right now is what they are debating, and U.S. senators are haggling over funding of the $1 trillion infrastructure compromise. And the question is, can they get bipartisan support for that? Joe?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, Jonathan Lemire, I guess the big question right now is, as they're trying to move towards an infrastructure deal, here you find you find Joe Manchin once again in the middle of things, trying to bring people together, trying to bring Republicans and Democrats together, coming up with compromises. Mitt Romney, others also involved in this compromise. But the big question is, are they going to be able to get to 60? Or at some point is Joe Manchin going to be pushed, and I think most likely he will be pushed into moving to some other position? Because don't you get the impression one way or the other Manchin's going to see this legislation passed?
It does seem that way, Joe, and happy belated Father's Day to you. Manchin, of course, has become the focal point of this entire negotiations, where the White House has been leaning on him. Certainly, he's hearing it from more progressive Democrats as well. We have this bipartisan group, and this seems to be a make-or-break week for this possible infrastructure deal. The president, of course, had been overseas for most of the last week and a half, and then had a largely down weekend in Delaware. And he has said, and his aides have signaled, that this is the week where he's going to re-engage on this, and they will see if they can do it. And they're going to have it's a balancing act. Certainly, this is not nearly the figure that the White House first put out there for an infrastructure